Premium laptops have this problem that really annoys me. They come with super high-end hardware, but then they put them in a form factor that's thin and light, which, you know, that's cool. But it really kind of defeats the purpose of having that super powerful hardware inside. That's why I really enjoy the Asus ProArt lineup, because it really finds the right mix of premium feeling laptop, premium looking laptop, and premium performance laptop. Which is why I'm excited Samsung Display sponsored this video so we can take a look at the Asus ProArt 16, which features their gorgeous new Tandem OLED that Samsung claims will blow your typical LCD screens out of the water. Oh man, even the chargers look cool on the ProArt stuff. They really go all out on the design front. In the box, we get a 240 watt charger that's in a pretty reasonable form factor for 240 watts. Unfortunately, it's a proprietary charger, but thankfully you can charge via the other USB-C ports on here if you are in a pinch. This generation is a bit more minimal than previous Asus ProArt. This ProArt kind of logo here used to make up more of the back of the display, but now it is just relegated to a corner and a tiny little modest Asus ProArt logo. It's pretty hefty. It's about 1.9 kilograms or 4.2 pounds, but it feels very, very sturdy with its metal construction and kind of a very fingerprinty lid. But I'm also like a greasy green Grinch. In terms of thickness, it's pretty reasonable. It's not chungus like some sort of gaming laptop. Since we're looking at the side of it, let's walk through the I/O. You have your DC in, HDMI 2.1, a USB-C 40 gigabit per second port, USB-A 10 gigabit combo audio jack. It has a full-sized SD card reader that supports SD Express 7, so it's wicked fast. A USB-A at 10 gigabit per second, and a USB-C at 10 gigabit per second. Would have loved to see another 40 gigabit port on this side, but that's just the way it is. But let's take a look inside now. Ooh, that looks pretty cool. On the inside, we have a 10 keyless laptop keyboard with slightly cramped arrow keys, but at least they didn't fill in these spots, so it could be worse. We get upward firing speakers, which is gonna be really great for listening to any sort of music or audio while you're creating. We also have this large trackpad, or as Asus calls it, the dial pad. You'll see this little circle right here, which can act as like a jog wheel that you can assign different tasks in different pieces of software. And this is, I guess, where you turn it on and off. And of course we get the Copilot button, everyone's favorite. Reinforcing the sturdiness of how built this thing is, there's like next to no keyboard flex. It is really great. And I think that the keyboard itself feels pretty good. Before we turn this thing on, I just want to remind you that it does come with a Tandem OLED panel. That's right, tandem, meaning multiple emitting layers, in this case two. It might not mean a whole lot to you if you're just looking for the next spreadsheet workhorse to get you through the day, but creators and professional users will certainly appreciate it, and we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. But before we get into that, let's talk about the rest of what's inside this laptop. In here we have an AMD Ryzen AI 9 370HX. Wow, that's a lot of letters, and it's also a super powerful processor. And to back that up, we have 64 gigabytes of LPDDR5X memory running at 7,500 megatransfers per second. We also have a 2 terabyte PCIe 4.0 NVMe SSD. For storage in here, we have two 2 terabyte SSDs. Both are 2280, that's full-sized M.2 SSDs. One caveat is that one of them is running at Gen 4 by 4, and one of them is running at Gen 4 by 2. So if you're doing like a really big transfer, you might see like a really small hit to performance, but it probably shouldn't be too noticeable most of the time. And for the GPU, we have an NVIDIA RTX 5090 laptop. This is going to be a beast of a laptop, and look at the screen. It is very pretty. Now let's talk about this display. The 16-inch display on this is an actual 16-inch, it's not 15.9, and it is a 4K Tandem OLED display. What does that mean? Basically, it provides extra brightness without having to drive as much power through your display, so that reduces the risk of burn-in over time, and also creates a very bright image. This thing has a peak brightness of 1600 nits in HDR. That's dumb. And it's also very bright in SDR. We'll talk a little bit more about the display testing in just a moment, but this thing, we recorded 691 nits at SDR. That's super bright. You'll also get a 120 Hz refresh rate and a speedy 0.2 millisecond gray-to-gray response time, making it great for gaming, movies, and other fast-paced tasks beyond content creation. Naturally, with this being a creator-focused laptop, the display is gonna have great color performance. It's very color accurate and has 100% coverage of the DCI P3 color space. And it's certified VESA Display HDR True Black 1000, which is the highest certification level available from VESA. And the display is Pantone color validated. So if you're somebody who's doing design or working across different mediums, you can trust that like what you see on this laptop will reflect what you're gonna see IRL. And what I'm seeing IRL is the webcam on the top of here and Windows Hello. Love to see it. And let's take a look at the webcam right now. The webcam on here is full HD and it's pretty serviceable. I might be a little bit washed out in this lighting and there's a little bit of grain, but it's handling the brighter lights in the back as well as the differential from my hat and stuff pretty well. I would have no complaints to use this as just any sort of laptop webcam. It's pretty okay. I don't know how the mics sound. I guess you will be able to hear that and let us know in the comments. Speaking of how it sounds, let's listen to these speakers. This is 100% volume. It's okay. They're pretty good. I've been so impressed by everything else on this laptop that I'm like, this light is a bit disappointed by the speakers, but for laptop speakers, they're still easily in the upper half of the ones I've heard. Like they're good.
Want to play a game or something?
Yeah, I would love to play a game. I'd love to play a game. We're in Cyberpunk and we're running at full 4K resolution. And this 5090 laptop, one, it's making the fans scream. It is loud here right now, but it's also managing like 40 to 60 FPS depending on the scene. And the HDR in the game looks so good. Like look at that guy. Damn. Now this thing is a top-of-the-line laptop packed to the brim with top-of-the-line hardware, but high-quality OLED panels aren't just in these high-end laptops. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. In the intro, I was talking about how premium form factors often make some sort of compromise. There is no ventilation on the top side of the laptop. Oftentimes, manufacturers will put ventilation like kind of right here along the screen. It feels like there is nothing. All of the intake is here, outtake is down here. It's a lot of heat that it has to manage with just a little bit of space. But man, look at it. What are we running at for temps then? 97 on the CPU now. That's pretty toasty and it's pretty loud. It would be worth considering getting a dock. Let's take a look at some of the games that Labs tested. In Cyberpunk at 1200p medium settings, we're seeing the 5090 pulling a whopping 120 FPS average with 96 in the lows. When we up the resolution, we're seeing closer to 100 to 86, but still quite impressive performance on a laptop. In F124 at 1200p high, this thing is screaming at 173 average FPS, and it stays screaming even at a higher resolution. Honestly, across the board, this is a powerful laptop, and if you want to get some gaming done, you're not gonna have too many problems, except for maybe some of those thermals. And that excellent performance translates into our Puget Bench suite of creative workloads like Photoshop, Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve. All great performance from this laptop. In summary, this laptop is frickin' powerful. But I'm not really the target demographic. Let's get a perspective from somebody who actually does a lot of creative work, like one of our editors.
My name is Peter, and I'm an editor here at ShortCircuit, sometimes. Sometimes I'm also an editor on LTT. You know, it depends on the day. And today, I'm gonna be talking about editing on the Asus ProArt P16. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so we will set up a project, I guess. All right, we're gonna move this onto the internal drive. I'm reading 263 megabytes per second. That's pretty fast, actually. And that's because it has a 985 megabyte per second SD Express 7.0 card reader. So this SD card actually reads at 300 megabytes. So we're almost getting the full 300 megabytes on this SD card. Most SD card like dongles, USB dongles, or at least the ones I have, they actually only read up to like 90 megabytes per second sometimes. So that's actually really fast and really nice to offload footage. The screen's actually really nice too. Is it OLED?
It is, Tandem OLED.
Tandem OLED, wow. I mean, even just Premiere looks so nice. I mean, I've never seen these grays so gray. I mean, playback's really good. This is just 4K footage, 30 FPS. Okay, we're gonna open up Lumetri and we're gonna actually put some color on this. We're just gonna slap the Alexa LUT on there. That's not what we do for our videos. I mean, the colors on this look great. This is half quality and it's looking pretty good. It's a little blue. I think that's just from the LUT, because the LUT is just a table and it just changes all the colors. But for a preview, this is pretty good. Like from what I can see, like I don't see any crazy like hue shift or anything. My screen at home, it has a pretty big like red shift. I've already tried to like fix that, but it's kind of tough without like a color calibrator and stuff. So having something right out of the box is actually really useful. It's definitely playing really well, like, and there's no lag when I press the play button. Like, it's pretty instantaneous. I mean, these files aren't humongous, but just to preview the render here, it's like about a 2-minute clip, and it's rendering like full res previews at like, I guess it'd take about 30 seconds here is what it looks like. It's pretty good. So here it is in After Effects. So After Effects actually renders it like out frame by frame when you press play. So it's pretty good. I mean, that's not real time, as you can see in this top right. It's about 16 frames per second instead of 30 frames per second. But I mean, that's at full res. I usually have to downsample. Even at half quality, it's like 20 FPS, which is still pretty good. Also, totally random thought, but the keyboard was actually really nice. Like, there's actually a lot of travel, so I'm gonna try it out really quick. It's pretty quiet, it doesn't click that much. It actually has a fair bit of travel, and honestly, I don't know, I'm trying to roto something, it is just, it's going crazy. I haven't even been paying attention, I've just been pressing buttons. But I think it looks good, so what does Labs say? When it comes to display performance, the labs tested almost 700 nits peak in SDR and over 1600 nits peak in HDR, up to a 10% window size. Genuinely impressive. As for color accuracy, SDR is great in both sRGB, DCI-P3, and Display P3 modes, with a Delta E 2000 average of less than 1 for their respective targets. HDR measured an average Delta E ITP of 27 and a max of almost 33, with the display brightness set to 100% and setting the HDR content slider to 100. However, if you turn your display brightness down just a bit to 90%, reducing the display brightness overall by less than 20 nits, this thing got way better, measuring Delta E ITP average of just over 10 and a max of almost 16 thanks to the slightly better EOTF tracking. Not too shabby. Anyways, back to you, Adam.
Thank you, editor, and sorry in advance. Let's talk about battery life now. This thing, very powerful, but also has a large 90 watt-hour battery. It's not the biggest battery you could cram in a laptop, but it is pretty big, and it does allow the laptop to get 7 hours and 40 minutes of video playback in our tests. It's pretty good, but in heavier workloads, you're gonna wanna have this thing plugged in still. With all that in mind, what is there to say about the Asus ProArt? Well, it is a high-end premium laptop that's built really nicely, performs crazy well, and being a high-end premium product, it has a high-end price. The 5090 variant that we're looking at costs a whopping $4,499, which, if this is something that you need to make money, could make a ton of sense for you. But if maybe you don't need all of that power, you could consider the 5070 variant that comes in at $3,000 instead, which is a big price difference. And remember, you get all of the other awesome features of this. You still get the dial pad, the great display, a great CPU, something to consider. Thanks to Samsung Display for sponsoring this video. They've been expanding their OLED lineup to make sure that everybody is gonna get a chance to experience the amazing OLED technology at a variety of different price points. For example, you might have seen some benchmarks of the P16 against an Asus VivoBook S16 earlier. That's because we were sent one of those too, just to show an example that even in a more affordable model, this one isn't available anymore, but it went for around 1,200 USD, you can still get the OLED advantage of blacker blacks and higher color coverage. For more information about OLED technology, check out the links in the description, and one more thank you to you for watching. If you like this short circuit, why don't you watch another short circuit? Subscribe to them. You'll get limitless numbers of short circuits, potentially.
Why'd you make that promise?
I said potentially. You could get limitless. There's a chance.